And it's time to finally talk about The Boy. And The Boy 2, Brahms, The Boy 2. Now, it is right now 4:30 in the morning after I've watched some wrestling and I'm quite tired and almost delirious from being up for like a very, very long time. But it's time to discuss the critically acclaimed The Boy and the critically acclaimed The Boy 2. I don't know where to begin with... Oh, hi Nelly. I don't know where to begin with The Boy. Thanks to Mike on Red Letter Media, he mentioned The Boy in like a video of like the boy hiding in the walls and stuff. Spoiler alert, I'll try not to ruin everything this far. I'm going to try something new for these videos and like not spoil everything, although I already have at the start anyway. And Mike talked about The Boy and I was like, oh this looks terrible and this looks shit. So I watched The Boy and I honestly like, it's like a guilty pleasure movie. I even like really enjoy it up until a certain point in the film. So today or tonight or this afternoon or this morning or whenever it is, I'm going to look at The Boy followed by Brahms The Boy 2, which I saw at the cinema. Where's the fucking ticket? I don't know if you can see that on the thingy. I'll put a little thing up. So The Boy 2 on the 26th, so like 5 days after it came out, and I've got notes somewhere. I don't know why I've left this so late to do this, so late and so early in the morning. Anyway, the main thing about The Boy is the doll, Brahms. Now, there's a lot of horror movies that have got like dolls and things, like obviously there's Annabelle and Chucky and... Hi Nelly. Annabelle, Chucky, fucking, you know, there's Brahms, there's the Puppet Master doll, there's the fucking clown from Poltergeist. There's always been like weird, creepy dolls. There's even the fucking doll from like Goosebumps. Everybody liked creepy dolls, but I just, when I watched it, I just thought Brahms was like really cool looking. I don't know why. And if anybody knows anyone, anywhere, who can get me a replica doll of Brahms, not have sex with him, or just even, you know, they took the small like Annabelle dolls that they done when like the films came out. Get me one of them for like Brahms. Hopefully somebody has one somewhere. I just want something. I just want a Brahms doll for like a backdrop or anything. Anyway, so we'll start talking about The Boy.
Allow me to introduce Mr. Hirscher. And this is our son, Brahms.
Came out in 2016. The Boy and The Boy 2 are both the same director, same writer, which is weird and worrying because they are vastly different in terms of quality and even writing and pacing and plot. But anyway, yeah, we'll start with The Boy 1, so 2006, so it had a 10 million budget. Both films have got a 10 million budget, by the way, which is fair enough. Box office for The Boy, which I was surprised because I obviously hadn't heard of it until Mike from Red Letter Media. Another shout out for you. From this low rent shithole channel. It was 64.1 million and stars Lauren Cohen as Greta, who's the nanny, and stars, who the fuck is it? It's also got Jim Norton in it, who's like the old man. Anyway, I'll get to the plot before I get into all this shit. I always ramble incoherently about nonsense anyway. So the plot is, without spoilers this time, I'm going to try and do this slightly differently. The plot is that basically there's this woman who's got an abusive boyfriend who's got a new job as a nanny at this big massive like estate in like somewhere in Scotland or somewhere in England or somewhere. It's in the Hillshire Mansion, or they're called the Hillshires or something. And she goes out there and she thinks, oh yeah, I'm going to get this really good job, I'm going to be a nanny, this little boy, and she goes there and lo and behold, it's not a boy, it's a porcelain doll called Brahms, and they're... The mum, it's difficult to sort of know at the start if like they both kind of believe it. The dad doesn't really believe it, who's Jim Norton, who's Bishop Brennan from Father Ted. He's really funny. Mum's really funny, but she kind of goes there and she's like, right, what the fuck's going on? why am I looking after like a porcelain doll? And they've got this big list of rules for Brahms, and you need to read him stories, you need to kiss him goodnight, and he can't be left on his own, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, and it's just kind of like, right. And the money's quite good, you know what I mean? And to start with, like, she doesn't end up playing by the rules of Brahms, and then things are not all as it seems, and Brahms starts moving about the house, like randomly, even though he's like a doll, and she sort of starts to think that, oh, what the fuck's going on here? Maybe he's is a real boy. Anyway, that's the plot without spoilers. Now, before I go into spoiler territory, it's made by STX Films, which is a great thing for a horror movie because it's not made by fucking Blumhouse. I'm so happy when I see a horror movie, good or bad, and it's not made by fucking Blumhouse, because anytime you stick on anything, go to the pictures and watch anything, go Netflix, anything, you stick on something that's Blumhouse and you think, oh, for fuck's sake, how much? It's like a monopoly of like horror shit by Blumhouse most of the time. So it's STX Films, and the director's, what's his name? William Brent Bell, who aside from The Boy and The Boy 2, he did Devil Inside, which is absolutely terrible, but it's a funny movie. A movie I'll probably do one of these at some point. It's also got Rotten Tomatoes score of 30%. I think it's better than that, up until a point. And it's got an IMDb of 6 out of 10, which seems a little bit generous for this sort of film. See, a lot of things with IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes is it's like everything's all over the place. All these review sites, you can never trust anything. IMDb could have like 7 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes could have like 10% or something, and you're like, everything's all over the place. So that's why I never sort of take these reviews, I just say what they are, based on what other people have rated it, but it doesn't really fucking matter. It's 97 minutes long, which is good, because a film that's under an hour and a half will always be viewed with suspect, like The Boy 2. But anyway, so getting into the film, essentially, major plot spoilers. Brahms, the doll, is just a doll. He's a porcelain doll that's there because the real son of the Hillshires, who supposedly died in a fire and killed this little girl, because there's another character who like comes into the plot who's like brings the veg and the fruit into the house, who sort of fancies the nanny, and oh, she's got an abusive boyfriend but she can't, oh, I don't want to see you, and I do want to see you, and oh, and there's a little sort of love story bit going on.
I'm Malcolm.
Hi.
I'm the grocery boy. Well, grocery man.
Lead the way.
Aside from him, there's very many other characters in it. There's him, there's Greta, who's the nanny, there's Brahms, who's an inanimate object, there's the Hillshires, and then there's her abusive boyfriend. But basically, it all winds up to what I already said at the start. There's a boy living in the walls. The real Brahms is like living in the walls of the house and moving Brahms about, and he sort of fancies Greta, and there's a bit where the Hillshires have her as a nanny and then they leave, because that's why she's there to look after Brahms, and they leave, and then there's a really sort of like strange bit that I found really quite funny, but it's maybe like really morbid, where they put like some rocks in their pockets and they're at a beach, and they walk into the beach and they like drown themselves in the water, and it's implied that, or it's said, I've seen this film like 10 or 11 times and I can't really remember the ins and outs of it, that basically like they've brought her there as like an offering to like the Brahms in the walls, like Greta's like there to like be a plaything for like Brahms in the walls or something, but eventually you do find out that Brahms is a real boy in the walls after her abusive boyfriend finds out where she is, and ends up destroying Brahms, and then the real Brahms comes out the wall, and then all hell breaks loose, and that's when the film kind of falls apart.
Huh?
No. Go!
Fine. There's something.
Oh my god!
Jesus, what is that? It's Brahms.
Because see earlier on in the movie, where she doesn't believe obviously Brahms is real because he's a porcelain doll. Why would you? And she's like, oh fuck this! I'm not kissing him goodnight. I'm not reading him stories. I'm not doing fucking this. I'm gonna drink wine, sit in my pants, and talk shite. Speak to my pal on the phone. At that point, you're like, ugh, this is kind of shite. Then once Brahms starts moving about, she's kind of like, oh fuck, and it like makes her like a sandwich at some point. Well, the Brahms on the walls makes her a sandwich, but she thinks it's the porcelain Brahms. And there's a little sort of montage of like her, she kind of like accepts that like, yeah, Brahms, the doll is real, and I need to follow these rules. And she starts like doing homework with him and reading him stories and kissing him goodnight and takes him everywhere with him and puts a little jacket and everything, takes him outside. And it's brilliant. I wish so much more of the film had been her and Brahms.
Is she going by herself? Asked the porter's wife. Yes. And how far is it? 50 miles. What a long way. I wonder Mrs. Reed is not afraid to trust her so far alone. I remember but little of the journey. I only know that the day seemed to me of creature... Teach you this one, couldn't we, Brahmsy?
I didn't know you could play. Sorry. I tried knocking.
Because to start with, you think she's as fucking wooden, or as porcelain, as the doll, but when it gets into it, she's actually not a bad actress. I'd rather like an hour and a half of the film should have just been her and Brahms. Her just sitting there with Brahms, talking to Brahms, even though Brahms is just a doll. It was... Some of the bits of that were fucking really, really funny and really, really good. And I liked them, where she's reading its stories and putting on its favourite song and everything. That was good shit. But with Brahms living in the walls, and he's also got like a big massive beard because he's a wall dweller, he's also got like a little weird, like creepy child's voice, which I think is quite cool. And like I like that. He's like, oh, we know about Gretchen, Mimi. And there's a bit as well where I'll go into like pros and cons of the movie after I've like rambled about it. She's having a shower, and there's she's got like a red dress because she's going to go out for a meal with the man from town who brings in fruit and veg, and Bram steals her dress. And then this is a sort of scene that I'll probably show in a trailer or something, where she like accidentally like goes up into the attic because she thinks somebody's in the attic, and she gets locked in the attic. And she's like banging on the window at the very top because he's come down to like take her out for dinner and a swanky time and a shag and all that. And she's banging on the window, and he leaves and thinks that she doesn't. He thinks that she's a cunt and doesn't want to speak to him. But she's been locked in the attic, and that's the main thing of all horror films. Is rule number 1 and 1.5 is do not go in the attic and do not go in the basement. Whatever they do not do those things. But later on, when Brahms is like broken through the walls, because obviously Brahms was living in the walls of the house, 'cause it's a big massive mansion. Very, very similar to Within and Shut In, and you know, it's just somebody living in the wall. I don't mind it too much, but it just gets ridiculous after real Brahms like comes out. He's got a red dress that he's stolen, and he's got it on like a sort of like straw like effigy of like her, and you assume that he's like been having sex with it and stuff.
It's me. That's my dress. That looks like me here.
Greta, I found a way down.
He's been watching me this whole time.
But yeah, but the boy, despite when I first watched it, I kind of thought like to start with, I was kind of like, this is like pure shite. It's not nearly. You should choose. But then after the little bit I said before, when she's like speaking to Brahms, that's a proper like pro. I would say if it's her and Brahms together when she thinks Brahms the doll is real and moving about, and she's went a little bit mental and it's made her a sandwich. That's really, really, really good. And the Hillshires are really good. And even the guy who brings the fruit and veg, what was his name again? Rupert Evans, I think is the actor's name. I've wrote down, and his name's Malcolm. They're all really good. And her ex-boyfriend comes in eventually, sort of finds out where she is, and so, I don't want to speak to you, blah blah. And he ends up breaking and destroying Brahms, and that's how Brahms comes to the wall. I think I mentioned that before. But it's of mediocre crap horror movies that have come out in the last like 5-10 years, it's alright. It's not the best, but it's okay. And Brahms is a proper like good little character, even though he's a porcelain doll. I like Brahms. He sort of sits about, he's got this little smile on his face, and he's got his little suit on and everything. He's great. I really enjoyed The Boy, and it says a lot for it, considering the fact I've probably seen it more than 10 times. And this is the first time we do a review of it. And then I heard that a segue into Brahms The Boy 2, like, I heard that was getting announced. I was like, why? They don't need to make sequels for everything. Brahms, sorry, I keep calling it Brahms. The Boy doesn't need a sequel, and that's shown very, very clearly from Brahms The Boy 2, which I will get into just now after I've had a little sip of my alcohol. So, as far as I would go, The Boy, pros, Brahms. The setting's really, really good. I like the Hillshire estate. The Hillshires are good, characters are good, setting's good, plots, yeah. And then by the end of it, with normal Brahms and stuff, it kind of gets a bit stupid. And then they destroy Brahms, and you think, oh, that'll be that. And then after the credits roll, you see real Brahms, who you think is dead, remakes Brahms, so Brahms could come back. And he does. 4 years later for Brahms The Boy 2, which I saw at the cinema.
Come on, Jude.
It looks like he was broken before and put back together.
Who's this handsome chap?
Brahms.
Same budget, 10 million. Box office, so the day I saw it, which was the 26th, is that the day? Yeah, sorry, the 26th of February, it had 8.4 million. As of today, which is the fucking, I need to check my dates, the 1st of March now. Because I've been busy, there's been a lot of fucking wrestling on, I've had to work, it's been stressful. Woe is me. It's got fucking 10.1 million, so it's made like a smidgen over its budget. And it stars Katie Holmes, dearie me, who I think's Tom Cruise's wife. I didn't look it up, I don't know if they're divorced or not. Somebody told me they were divorced, but I don't know. And this is the worrying thing, is it's made by the same director and it's written by the same writer, and the writing and the directing of The Boy isn't too bad. Like, aside from the end and the sort of plot twist I've already gone into, is The Boy 2's, you would somehow surmise that it might be as good or similar, but without going into spoilers, we'll get to them in a minute. The plot of The Boy 2, sorry, Brahms The Boy 2, is Katie Holmes and her husband. Her husband's actually alright, as a sort of like nice sort of family man. He's alright. I can't remember his name. I might have wrote it down. I just wrote husband, I didn't write a note for that. Anyway, so her husband are living in somewhere in England, and what's he doing? The little boy like sort of pranks them and stuff, and there's a bit where he's standing behind like a stairway, and then there's another bit where you see like a full-grown person standing in the stairway, and they've not turned the alarm on or something, and basically the house gets like robbed, and the mum gets attacked by these two like burglars, and the little boy sees it all, and he gets like traumatised, and he can't talk. He becomes like a mute, and he has to like write everything down on like a little board. That's a fine character trait. It's very, very good to not hear the young child actors talk majority of the time. I don't want to hear them talk, so it's fine. He just emotes with his little board. Fine with that. And Katie Holmes is all emotional and blah blah blah. Oh, I'm so upset. Oh, I can't do this. And she keeps having like nightmares and like waking up, and she's panicking and sweating and thinking that she's back in the trauma of being attacked by these guys. So her husband's like, oh, Katie Holmes, I have an indescript job where I can work anywhere, so let's just go out to the country near the Hillshire mansion, and we'll live there for a bit. So you and what's the kid's name? Is Christopher Connery's the kid's name? What was his name? That's really gonna annoy me. I'm gonna need to look that up. I did not write the fucking kid's name down. Is it Jude? I think it's Jude. What's his name? If I'm right, see if I'm right. See if I'm fucking right. Haha! It is Jude. Fuck you, Brahms. Well, not fuck you, Brahms. Anyway, so they end up going into the wilderness to get away from it all and have a break. And I can work from home, blah blah. And the kid's still not talking. And then lo and behold, they have a little walk into the woods because they go on an adventure. And Jude sort of hears us all. Behind the walls. From the woods, and he finds Brahms in the dirt outside with little clothes in a little coffin with his little suitcase full of his little clothes. And Jude becomes best pals with Brahms, and his mum doesn't like it because she thinks it's creepy and there's something going on about it, but the psychologist and his dad are like, oh, it's good, Jude's got like a little friend, blah blah blah, maybe this will help him talk, etc. But all is not as it seems, just like in The Boy, all is not as it seems. And all sorts of hijinks ensue. God almighty.
Love you, Mommy. I love you.
So, the main issue with Brahms the Boy 2 is also the best thing about Brahms the Boy 2 is Brahms. Now, in The Boy, Brahms is a doll. He's a porcelain doll who is moved about by real Brahms, who lives in the walls. In The Boy 2, Brahms is a demonic entity who moves his eyes about and has expressions, which is annoying for various different reasons. Brahms in The Boy 2 is the best character, same as in the Brahms in The Boy 1. But Brahms shouldn't move his eyes or anything, or his face, or that, because he's a doll. The Boy 2 is a completely different plot that they've tried to cobble together out of fucking nothing to try and make a sequel to The Boy when they just should have just left it. Or they could have just had... It's very, very frustrating to talk about because I really, really like the character of Brahms. Like the doll's moving its eyes and everything, and there's a bit where she looks in the mirror. I've showed you all this in the trailer for Excitable Brahms, which I thought was quite witty, but what do I know about anything? When she looks in the thing that moves its head, and you see it sort of look away and it moves its eyes. And when she's sort of looking at it, when she finds there's a bit where she looks up on the internet, demonic dolls, and you've got to check its hands and its feet, and there's like it's very, very subtle, and it's like actually like good camera work, where it's in the darkness, and Bram, like, it's on Bram's face, but it blurs. She looks down to her hands because you have to find a little sort of mark on its feet or its hands to find out where the doll's from. So find out where the doll's made. Oh, why is the doll like this? Blah blah blah. Oh, and why is my son mental? Because the son's like made up a little list of rules that you have to do with Brahms, like in the first film. Don't leave Brahms on his own. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. And Brahms ends up doing things like, what does he do? Like he turns on the TV, or he does something, and then they send him to his room, and then like she tries to open the door, and then the little boy's like had a glass of water. She's like, oh my god, the little boy's at the room. Oh my god, where's it? And then Brahms is sitting in the chair when they don't actually open the door. Like, Brahms shouldn't do that, but in this film he's a demonic entity, so it kind of makes the entire first film pointless. But anyway, so the point I was going to get to, as you know on these things, or if you don't know, I ramble a lot. So yeah, she's looking at the boy's feet, boy's hands, pans down to the feet and the hands, but as it pans down, Brahms has like a smirk on his face, and then as it pans up he goes to like deadpan, like normal Brahms face, and I really like that. I thought it was a really, really clever, like subtle like camera movement, but it's kind of stupid. There's like other little bits in it where some of like his, the dad's family, the mum's family come over to like speak to them, and they've got like their son and daughter over, and they keep saying that like the little boy's mental. He's like South African or Australian or something, and he keeps like calling him mental, and then they end up, like, he goes to like threaten to smash Brahms. He's like, you shouldn't do that, blah blah, and he ends up falling on like a little like stick thing, cricket stump thing. I can't remember why that happened, but he doesn't die. He gets taken to hospital. But it's just, there's another bit where he's like, oh, you shouldn't, like the little boy wants Brahms to eat at the table. His mum's like, no. He's like, I'm not giving Brahms a plate, I'm not giving Brahms any food. He's like, you'll sit there until you eat your food, and he's not eating his food. Because when she takes away Brahms' plate and everything and takes him away, and then she goes to the room, or sends him to his bed or something, and Brahms is left at the table, and then the fucking table flips over, like someone at The Exorcist or something, and you're like, oh my god, how did he do that? It's like, how did he do that? No wait, he's sitting with Brahms when this happens, and she does something, takes away the plates or that, and comes back through. The table fucking flips over, and you're like, how would a little fucking boy do that? How would the doll do that? It's just kind of, fuck knows. It's just, this is where I'll get into the rates for this. So the last one was 30%, which means nothing. This has got 10%. It did have 11%. It did have 11% like 4 days ago. On IMDb it's got 4.3 out of 10. And it's not even an hour and a half, like I've said before. If film's under an hour and a half, be a little bit wary about that. What else happens in it? It's also got the dad from the Vivitch in it. I wrote down his name. I don't know what's his name. Ralph Ineson. He's fantastic, but his character's like so fucking stupid. Like, he's like the groundskeeper on the grounds that they're on. I should have mentioned this earlier. The grounds that they're on with the little houses is on the same grounds as the Hillshire Mansion. And apparently they went to the Hillshire Mansion inside it. I went for a piss during this and got some beers, and they went inside the walls where the boy was. And it's just, it's just, they shouldn't have made Boy 2. It's just, you don't even need to watch the Boy 1 to watch the Boy 2 now, because it's essentially an entirely different story, because it's like demonic, and it's made people like kill themselves and they research it, and it's done this and it's done that and it's done this. And then it's like, oh, it's going to take over your son, and he's got like the Brahms mask from, he must have found that in the house that I didn't see, because he's got the Brahms mask, the bit that I showed in the trailer, it goes and he's like, oh, it's just, they get to the bit where they're going to destroy Brahms, or Brahms is going to destroy Jude, and the dad I think hits it in the head with like something, and its mask falls off and it's got like a demon face. There's a bit earlier on as well, where like the mum's looking, I think this is where she's looking at his feet or his hands, and its face kind of goes like Pennywise, and its eyes go like, and like shoots all these like ants or flies or something, and then 2 seconds later, oh, there's nothing there, oh no. And you think, oh no, you're like, Brahms was like a doll, it's like the Annabelle doll, like the Annabelle doll means nothing, Brahms means nothing, like they're like inanimate objects, they're like just there to be moved about. Like the doll in Annabelle's possessed by a demon, but the doll doesn't really mean anything. It's about a demon, not a doll. In the same way that Brahms isn't about a doll, it's about the guy living in the walls, and now the doll's a demon. What? How did this happen? It's just so fucking stupid. And they try and reference it back to the original Boy, and it's fucking hell. And at the end of it, fucking Ralph Ineson, who's like the boy's caretaker, he put him back to life and everything, and you just think, oh, why would he waste his time on this? He's such a good actor. And fuck Katie Holmes as well, she's terrible. She is not a patch on Greta from the first film, I'll tell you that much for free. But then, the end of it, they break Brahms' head and he turns into a demon, and then Jude throws him in a fire, and you're like, oh, he's in the fire, and you think, oh, for fuck's sake, he's like Brahms is a demon doll, he's not like an inanimate object. I just wanted to enjoy the movie, you know. And then at the end of it, the family all gets back together, and they're all happy, and then Jude puts on the Brahms mask. Ooh, shite. Pros and cons of Brahms the Boy 2. Brahms is amazing, but it's not really Brahms, because Brahms shouldn't move or have any sort of facial things, because it's a different. The dad's quite good. The little kid's good where he's writing on his little thing. And he's got little pages where like Brahms or him with the mask on's like going to kill his family and stuff. Then the book goes missing or something. He's like, oh my god, why would he tear the pages out of his book? I never understood that. He's just like, oh, there's pages in here where it said that he would kill his whole family, or there's drawings where he'd kill his whole family. Where are these pages? And the dad's like, oh, he wouldn't take them out of the book. You're like, why wouldn't he take them out of the book? For fuck's sake. Fucking stupid. But I am not surprised. It's got such a low score on everything. It's got like 1 shown in every cinema. It's terrible. Recommendation wise, The Boy is really good. up until a point where you actually see the real boy, I would 100% recommend going and see The Boy, or get it on Amazon or Netflix. I bought it on Amazon because I'm a sad boy loser who wants a Brahms doll. Do not go and watch Brahms the Boy 2. It is not worth your time or your effort. Brahms the Boy 2. They had something mildly alright, mildly, mediocrely interesting-ish, and then it's all just thrown in the fucking gutter, into the furnace, like Brahms. So The Boy, I would have a nice can of The Boy. Maybe even 5 cans out of a 6-pack. I wouldn't have the 6th one. And for Brahms the Boy 2, I would maybe have 1 can, and I'd leave it at that. Woo! Somebody find me a Brahms doll.